Okay. Well, this is something I think this is kind of an important topic. I don't know. I guess it's a MGTOW topic, even though I'm not MGTOW. I mean, I'm not, I'm not even going to go into that whole thing. If you want to call me an incel, if you want to call me a MGTOW, I just don't give a fuck. I really don't. I just, like I've said, I've got way bigger problems than people who don't know me calling me names on the internet and have no idea what my situation is. And so, but it's really too bad that people just have to like frame these kinds of issues in these really simplistic kind of vitriolic also terms, because it really it gets politicized. A lot of this stuff gets politicized, and it's just really unfortunate. That's just kind of what's one of the problems with our society, is just how politicized everything becomes. And it's, it's all part of the psyop, I think. And whatever, believe what you want to believe. I don't really give a shit. But it's just this feminist culture that we kind of live in now, where it's become in vogue to run down men, to put men down, to mock men, to belittle men. It's really common. I mean, it's like, and it's even women that I consider to be quote unquote friends, or at least women that I know in some capacity. They engage in the same kind of shit, where they run a guy down. They just talk shit about him. He's a loser. He's got a small dick. He can't, he's not masculine enough. He can't get a job. He doesn't take showers. It just runs the gamut of the insults. It's to a point. I mean, it's kind of hard to take it seriously, because it is just so redundant in a way. But at the same time, it's just, when you see it, and you see, pretty much all the women I know or have known engage in that kind of toxic behavior, to mock and belittle a man. And it's, I don't think women really, I know they don't really think twice about, the kind of damage that does. I mean, think about it. When women, like, okay, so let's say you're a little overweight. Here's an example. Let's say you're a little overweight, or you're maybe not the most attractive woman in the world, right? And you walk into you pop into a live stream or something where the creator is running down, unattractive women, ugly women, and fat women, right? Just talking loads of shit about them. And, how do you feel, knowing that you're maybe a little overweight, or maybe not the most attractive woman in the world? You feel that sting. I mean, everybody does. You feel that sting in that moment, and you don't feel too good about it, do you? So, and I guess it's just, women just assume that men don't have feelings. I mean, I've been told that. I mean, I have been told by more than one woman, oh, you don't have any feelings. And it's just like, of course I do. I mean, of course I have feelings. But there is a perception, and it's relatively common. And, it's a cultural thing, though, too. And I don't even want to go into the whole reasons why men bury their feelings, or don't express their emotions. It runs the gamut, for those reasons. Maybe I'll do a talk about it one day, go in depth, and actually like script some of this stuff, actually maybe start scripting and researching some of these topics, and doing, whole fucking shows on them. I've thought about it before, but anyway, it's just, so, imagine, a guy walks into a live stream, and, this fucking guy is such a loser, and, he can't get any women. He's an incel, and he's got a small dick, and he's this, he's that, and he can't get a job, and, no woman would want him, and, all that kind of shit, and you hear it, over and over and over and over and over for years. I mean, because this is, the last 10 years, but in really, even in the wake of Me Too, because it really, the rhetoric and has gotten amped up, that kind of feminist rhetoric, anti-male, man-hating rhetoric is really amped up. in the last few years or so. And I've spent my whole life, I've lived my whole life in the shadow of feminism. And, I'll just put the disclaimer out there. I don't care if you want to have a job. I don't care if you want to have a career. You can go and be free. If it makes you happy to sleep around, to fuck a bunch of dudes, to blow a bunch of guys, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not judging you for that kind of stuff. It's whatever. I don't think it's healthy. That casual sex culture. I'm not okay with that kind of stuff. I just don't think it's okay. I think it damages people. I think the proof is there. I mean, actually, when I was in therapy, I was actually talking about this with my therapist. He's got just a ton. It's like most of his clients are people, getting older, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, who have done that kind of lived that kind of a lifestyle, where they've engaged in a lot of casual sex and they've had a lot of sex partners, and the damage, the emotional and psychological damage that it's done to these people, men and women, is, he just, he didn't share any specifics, about any, one, individuals, that kind of stuff, but he, this is very widespread. So anyway, the point being, and back to the point here, and it's just something I really am kind of like finally saying to myself, this bothers me. I mean, I really do get bothered by this. Just seeing women just talk so openly and so freely about men in such a negative, such a vitriolic, such a, demeaning way. And you think it doesn't affect, we might pretend that it doesn't affect us, but I feel it. I definitely feel it. It's uncomfortable as fuck to be in a live stream in a chat with a bunch of women talking like that. It's just, it's cringe. It's cringe. And I've seen, women who, there's a lot of hypocrisy out there about this too. I've seen women who have said, it's not okay to talk that way about men. Talk that way about men. It might be a guy that they don't like, or, that's sort of, unpopular, but that doesn't make it right, and it's still, I'm listening to this shit too. I'm a dude, what am I, a loser too? Am I a fucking incel who can't get a woman and, all that shit? And, that shit, I'm just putting it out there, y'all do what you want to do. I'm on my way out of this fucking world. I just really don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. So, and there was this guy, Jamie might remember him. He was, it was Sean something. He was this black dude. And I remember he did this video one time too. And he kind of talked about, and he put it more in terms of like, I don't need a man, because that was, I don't know if that's as common now, this whole I don't need a man attitude, which is weird. I don't really understand. We all need each other to a degree, to survive. And, when it comes down to like a partner, anyway, I don't want to go there. But he used to talk about, oh, I'm a man, I've got ears, well, you must not want me, I mean, that's how most guys think, when they hear women talk like this. And it's just, it kind of baffles me that women are baffled by men being so hesitant now and not wanting to get involved. I mean, we have completely fucked up the society. It's like broken beyond repair. It's going to take several generations to fix it, if it gets fixed at all. That's just the way it is, man. And it's most likely just going to completely fall apart. And then we're going to have to like, everybody's going to have to like pull together and like come up with something new. And that's my guess, but in some way or another. And cause I don't want to, I'm not about going backwards, to, traditionalism, what they call traditionalism. We need to come up with something new, something else here. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know why people can't just be very honest about the situation that we're in and look at it in a very open. I guess because it's maybe too painful. It's just easier to sweep it under the rug or avoid it and whatever. But I'm just putting it out there, man. This is a thing. It bothers me, and I'm at a point, and I've, again, as I'm like looking more and more into myself about some of these kinds of things and being more and more honest about some of the things that really do bother me. I'm just being honest here. I don't know how I can trust women again. I really don't. I mean, I'm like, I hate to say it, but I'm sort of terrified of women now. Just sort of collectively. I mean, it's too late for me anyway. I mean, I'm, as fucked up as I am, and I'm 55. I mean, it's just, I know it's just not going to happen for me. I mean, I'm done. And so, the only thing I can do now is to sort of maybe leave behind some wisdom, maybe, for future generations, so that this doesn't happen anymore. Because it's sad, man. This is a sad, broken society that we live in. And I'm just, and with regards to like, and I'll just kind of put this out there because I think it's important. I really do, because I'm just not down with the whole free love, casual sex thing, the serial monogamy. If that's your thing, that's your thing. Knock yourself out. I'm not a prude. I just think that there is a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and sex is a sacred act. It's supposed to be a sacred act, and we've completely destroyed that. We turned it into, it's Brave New World, man. I mean, this is fucking Brave New World 1984. That's what we're living in right now, man. Where it's all about just, feeling good and being entertaining ourselves and engaging in, whatever. And not, commitment is out the fucking window for a lot of fucking people. I mean, I think more than half the country now is single, if I remember correctly. And then, of that group, they're just hooking up with each other. And I'm not into it. It's not my thing. If it's your thing, whatever, man. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you straight up, man. It's harmful. It's dangerous. It fucks people up to live like that. And it just does, man. It just does. And so, we're hurtling towards a very, very dark future. And I'm sorry that I'm being a bummer right now, but we are, man, because there's just there is a dark element that is in control of this planet. And it just, whatever, I won't go in too deep into it. Go do your research, man. The dark cabal, if you will, man, it's a fucking thing. There are people here who have a very deep knowledge of how this reality works. And they have manipulated it to their advantage. And they use the average person as food, energy food, essentially. And they use the collective consciousness to manifest certain things. It's a thing, man. It's a thing. Look into it. And part of this destruction of our society, this degradation of the individual in society, is that free love, casual sex thing. It's destroyed the nuclear family, or the family. It doesn't even have to be the nuclear family, because I'm not about that either. I don't think that, just the parents by themselves should be. I think like a larger family, like the way a lot of Asian cultures do it, where it's the extended family is all part of the process of raising children, and they help each other out, and then we're so individualistic here, it's just to a fault. I mean, to a fault, and I'm just as bad as anybody else. I really am, and I'm aware of that. So okay, so anyway, there's a lot. I know I throw a lot of shit out there, and I should really kind of break this stuff up and just do like research and write scripts for like an hour fucking show, and then an hour show on this and an hour show on that. It's a fucking, motivation thing for me right now. Um, anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I just, maybe ladies think twice, before you start running dudes down, so probably maybe just keep it behind closed doors with your girlfriends instead of just out in public, just talking just mad shit about dudes. Because we hear you. We all hear you. And it's, as I said before, I am legit like incredibly standoffish now after everything I've experienced in my lifetime and just being, run down my whole life and told I'm a piece of shit and all of that kind of stuff, man. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. And it sucks that, this is the way it is, but this is the way it is for a lot of people. But anyway, I just, there it is. I mean, it just, when I see it, and now I'm at the point where I just leave now. I used to just hang around and kind of feel cringy and uncomfortable and, all that kind of shit. And, hopefully it'll stop soon. As soon as I hear that kind of talk, I'm out, man. I can't deal with it. It's a trigger for me at this point. It's just 55 years of being told I'm a piece of shit for being a man. I'm done. I'm done. I really am. I'm done. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that.